Hello, everybody. It's really nice to be here, back live with you. And I wanted to talk today about this question that I asked myself that actually fundamentally changed my life. It was a question that I asked that was, how did I get here? That's what I thought. How on earth did my life become this? I had a really happy childhood. I didn't come from an abusive background. I went to the best school. I had a privileged life. Not that, emotional abuse or domestic violence chooses class or anything like that. But in my imagination, I had no history of this. So it was completely foreign to me. And I was starting to build my career as an actor in Aussie soap operas. That's another story. I'll save that for another day. And I just thought, how did I end up in a violent marriage in which I almost lost my life? How? It's so far removed from where I'd come as a child. And now here I was, having fled him and reclaiming my life as a young single mother with a baby, alone, wondering how my life came to this. So I thought I'd share that because so many of you say the same thing to me. Like every day I hear this. One woman I spoke to even yesterday said that it's worse for her because she's still repeating the pattern of attracting toxic partners over and over and over again. And she says, even though the warning bells scream at me so loudly, I still ignore them. But every single time I do this in relationship over and over and over again, she says the same thing to herself. Here I go again. Why am I doing this? How have I got here again? How many of you have asked that question? How have I ended up here? But it's like she's got these two personas. She was describing to me the tough girl exterior that keeps attracting the bad boys. Not that being tough does attract that, but in her situation, she says, I've just realized I'm running out of battery. So hang on, I'm going to have to plug my computer in. Hold on 1 second. Hold that thought. Right, hold that thought. I was just doing that without letting anybody see that I've got Ugg boots on beneath because it's really, really cold. Anyway, what was I saying? So it's like she's got these two personas, this tough girl exterior. But she said, the tough guys seem to like that side of her. But she admits that that's just her armor. She puts that exterior on to show the world that she's completely strong and she's tough because she's got all these really deep fears of trust issues. But she said, I do that, but it's not me. She said the real me is actually quite introverted and shy. But when I'm around guys that I like who are nice, I clam up. I just don't know how to connect to them in a healthy way, is what she told me. And she said, I keep doing what I know will hurt me. And she was crying. And she said, I don't want to feel that scared, vulnerable girl anymore. And I know it's an exhausting battle. I was the tough girl as well. I had to show the world I was strong and I was capable. I was fun. I was outgoing. I was even a bit of a rebel. And I even sort of almost dared the headmistress to expel me from school and lied to her face when she caught us all smoking in the school toilet. I was that sort of rebel. Although I have to admit, I was a bit of a secret SWAT, so I still got top grades at school. I'll just add that a little bit in there. But I was that. This was the exterior that I put on as well, this tough girl. And I swear, if my husband that I'm married to now, not the first guy, but the beautiful, really lovely husband I've got now, if he met me when I was a young girl, I'm sure he would have run a mile. He would have hated that tough girl exterior. and I would have been way too much to handle for him, I'm absolutely sure. But when I did meet with him, it's interesting, when I did meet with him years later, he was so nice, so emotionally available, and so respectful that I wasn't used to that. And I tried to push him away. I did everything in my power to push him away. I was really, really scared. I was used to drama. And so I wasn't sure. A healthy relationship was alien to me. And I think deep down I feared that what if he gets to know me and sees this scared little girl inside that strong, confident exterior that I had. I was just convinced he would run a mile. But then I was also really tired of this constant, codependent, dysfunctional relationships. I'd had one after the other, and I was tired of them. And I really could see that they were never going to lead to the happiness and love that I craved so much. So when one relationship after the other got me to that rock bottom, because, if you repeat this pattern of toxic relationships, they do get worse because your self-esteem gets stripped away little by little, and they do get worse. And so I was at that rock bottom, and that's when I said, how on earth did I get here? And it's not just that you keep attracting toxic people into your life. And that's not to victim blame, I promise. But there is something about you that attracts these toxic people, because they are masters of detecting. In a crowd of 1,000, they will detect the one who is vulnerable enough to be their perfect prey. So you do, in a way, attract them because you've got this sign the invisible sign on your forehead that they can read. But it's not just about that. It's not just that you attract these types. Those of us who do repeatedly attract those toxic types and abusive relationships also struggle when it comes to healthy love and emotionally available relationships. You might not even realize that now, because you might be still repeating that pattern of toxic relationships. It goes deeper. And until you actually get to experience that emotional available relationship like I did, I didn't realize that I'd have a problem with that, and that there was huge amount of insecurity within me. And, as that woman I spoke to recently said to me, she said, I can see the red flags a mile away, but I still ignore them. And then when it comes to the nice men that I really want to date instead, I struggle, I climb up. And she said, one of them even told me that I'm cold and hard to connect with, but that's not her. She's really a lovely, kind, empathetic, warm human being. So the struggle is on both sides. It's not just the toxic relationships. We are protecting ourselves either way. How the hell did I get here was exactly the question I needed to ask myself. And with support and work, I finally found the answers I needed to that question, and why I was so vulnerable to bad boys and kept attracting them to me, and yet so terrified of the ones that I secretly dreamed of loving me instead. Only when I found the answer to that could I then break this self-sabotaging pattern and go on to be open to receiving really beautiful, healthy love instead. And until you do that and really ask yourself, what is it about me? How the hell am I ending up in the same pattern over and over and over again? The definition of insanity is repeating the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome. Who said that? Albert Einstein, I think. I don't know. If you know, let me know. And until you do, you're going to end up like this woman that I spoke to, and so many women I speak to every single day who are still repeating that pattern over and over and over again and wondering why, and then saying, here I go again. Why am I doing this again? But each time you do this, it's going to chip away little by little more of your self-esteem, more of your self-worth, more of your confidence, more of your boundaries, and more of your self-respect. And you'll become trapped in that vicious cycle that is going to lead that woman, I know, to down a path that leads her to become everything she said she feared, which was turning into her 80-year-old mother alone in a nursing home, looking back at her life with regret. That's what she said to me. And I knew that I didn't want to do that. And that's when I asked myself that question, how did I get here? So I hope that's helpful. If this rings true for you, let me have a look to see if there's any comments. Hello. Hello, Modima Rose. Hello, James. Modima, you know that feeling. Yeah, it's very, 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 very common. Lee Chai Divine, thank you for your work. You've helped me a lot. That's great. I appreciate that. Thank you for being here. And Madima wants to explain an emotionally available relationship. Well, I'll explain my husband now. My husband now is, my abusive ex, whenever we go in that cycle of everything would be great and we start to get really close, and I think, wow, finally we are going to have that relationship that I've been looking for, and then bam, he couldn't cope with it. He had to pull away, and that was either by causing an argument that allowed him to storm off and go to the pub for 2 days, or just do the silent treatment for me for days, not speak to me, but anything just to pull away. And then tension would build again, and we would go down that cycle until something exploded, something happened, he was abusive, and then he'd feel remorse and go into that pattern of, oh, I'm so sorry, I love you, I didn't mean it, I'm going to change, I'm never going to do this again. And then we would go on the up again. The difference is my beautiful husband now, we can get close. I can reveal any bit of my vulnerability to him, and I know he's never going to use that as a weapon later against me to hurt me. So therefore, because I'm able to get vulnerable with him, we have built trust greater than that I've ever felt in my life before. I've never felt trust like it. And the deeper our trust, the deeper the connection, the more vulnerable we can get. So we're in this really, really positive cycle. An emotionally available guy celebrates your success. If you're doing well, he's not going to want to pull you down and tear you down. He's going to lift you up and celebrate with you. He's going to support you through no matter what you do. And he's going to be there when times are tough and you're unwell and you're sick, and you're going to be strong sometimes for him. He's not going to feel emasculated if sometimes you're strong and he's feeling a bit down and weak. We're a team. That's what my relationship is like. It is incredible. It's really, really beautiful. So if you are repeating this pattern and it is familiar to you, then I really would encourage you, if you haven't already, to watch my free masterclass, how to recover from toxic relationships, fall back in love with your life, and never settle for less than you deserve again. If you're in my Facebook group watching this, it's at the top of the Facebook group. I think it's also in the description. If you're on YouTube watching this, it's in the description below. So I really would encourage you to watch that, because that gives you the 5 steps that I help show my clients to doing just that. Breaking free from this cycle and going on to fall back in love with their life and be happy fully within, with or without a partner. so that they are looking, when they are ready to look for love, they're looking for love from a confident, empowered space, not one that is from fear and insecurity. So anyway, that's it. I've actually got to jump off now because I've got to go and speak to another beautiful woman. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.